Right, so in my previous video, if you didn't see it, I talked a bit about limited palettes and some of the things to consider when picking and using one, and also some alternatives. Now, I actually recorded that after this painting, but I went through a similar process before I painted this, testing different mixes. It just wasn't very presentable like the color wheels I did. Anyways, from those tests, I decided I wanted to try out this palette most of all. The colors here are phthalo blue, yellow ochre, and Indian red, which I mixed myself as close as possible because I didn't have it. In the end, I ended up cheating a bit and using a brighter red, so I would probably pick a regular red instead of this one if I were to do it over, but the Indian red was still a nice place to start. Overall, the colors really help give the painting that sense of togetherness that I mentioned in the other video. The colors don't match the photo at all, and there's a link to the photo in the description if you want to see it. But that isn't the point when working with a limited palette. It's unlikely you'll be able to match most of the colors. You just want to get close enough in relation to the rest of the colors, and that's the key, in relation. And you really want to pay close attention to the values as well, and again, just in relation, because this painting, for example, came out way lighter than the photo, but it still looks really nice. I wasn't worrying here about anything other than setting down similar colors. So when I try stuff like this, I just try to let go. The image was just loosely traced, and I'm not worrying much about details. In fact, I left a lot of details out and only just barely hinted at them. I just really tried to relax and focus on the colors. I think it can be really fun, and it can help you let go doing stuff like this every once in a while, where the goal is just something other than being accurate about all the other aspects of the painting. And sometimes you might be surprised by what comes out just from that relaxed attitude and what you might learn. But yeah, apart from the palette, I also wanted to test how thickly I could paint with watercolors. If you didn't see the previous video, these paints are just from a cheap set of watercolors that I keep around to do and try stuff like this. I also talked a bit about how I wanted to focus on one medium. I'd like to be able to stick to just one so I can focus on having the proper supplies for that one medium, but I just can't seem to settle for one. My favorite medium is acrylics, but they dry way too fast. I hate having to worry about the palette drying. I've tried all sorts of things, but nothing really seems to be enough to get my mind off it. The best solution as of now has been these bottle cap containers I made, and I'll leave a link to in the description to the Instructable if you want to make those. But they're still far from ideal. I'm still working on ways to solve this. I have two main ideas to test that show some promise, but I don't really have the materials yet to test them. I have considered switching to oils, but I have a completely different problem with those. I can't seem to find a good non-toxic medium to dilute them with, like for glazes and stuff. As I've probably mentioned once or twice, the only mediums they sell where I live are linseed oil, varnishes, and if you're lucky, liquid, which I've bought, but it's the thicker original type, and they don't seem to have the thinner variety of that, just that one original type. I'm really interested in trying oil of spike lavender, but I've yet to find a shop nearby that sells it, and I'm not willing to risk purchasing it online. If I can get it, or if I can get the more liquid, I would definitely pick oils, even if it's the medium I have the least paints and supplies for. I really like not having to worry about the paint drying, but only if it has all the handling properties I want, and it doesn't. I don't have that yet, so I don't really want to invest in them yet. So since those two mediums are kind of on hold, I started wondering if maybe there was a way to use watercolors more ethically, and that's where this painting came in. Stuff like aqua pasto doesn't exist here, so I just experimented with whatever I had at home to see if anything helped and prevented the cracking, but nothing really worked. I tried making the paper less absorbent with gesso and fixative, but although that helped a bit, it causes beading, as you can see later on in the video when I start to paint the sky, and it still cracked when I put the paper near my heater to simulate more summer temperatures. Adding stuff like chalk to help thicken the paint didn't work either. I couldn't get anything to not crack past the layer of thickness. They all failed when I tried to do two layers of paint, and anything past a millimeter failed on the first layer. I tried spraying with fixative between the layers, hoping that would work, but that didn't work either. I mean, with just one layer straight out of the tube, like I'm doing in this painting, that works okay. The only areas of the painting that cracked, and they were very small hairline cracks, were the white highlights, which were technically painted on as a second layer of thickness. The first layer seems to have stayed intact despite all the heat, and I also bent the paper and rolled it up both ways to see if that would make the paint crack, but it didn't. It was just the heat and the drying. So it works better than I expected, but not well enough to really use it as my main medium. Also, the testing was done with a yellow, which tends to crack the most. Darker colors seem to do better, but only marginally. This isn't much of a problem with something like this painting, but I could see it being a problem if you have certain pigments side by side. I would love to see if this could be lessened by adding more gum arabic or some other medium. According to my research, the watercolor mediums that allow you to paint thickly are apparently made with a mix of gum arabic and silica, so that's probably possible to make myself, but I don't have either of those things, so I don't really want to waste the money on something that might not work. So yeah, I'm still kind of undecided on all that. Still, this works nicely enough for studies and one-layer paintings that I might do more like this while I try to decide what medium I'm going to stick to, just because doing black and white all the time is a bit boring, and I like doing some color. So anyways, I hope you found the video helpful. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Otherwise, please consider subscribing or following me on one of my social media sites. And if you want to support me, you can check out my Patreon and follow me there as well.